of the alcohol, la 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 la. Just line 'em up and we will drink them all, la 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 la. Well, my mother always said, if you want to drink all day, you'll fast start in the morning, and that's the Irish way. We don't get drunk, we get awesome. Every other mother will agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome. So order up around for you and me. We don't get drunk, we get awesome. Every motherfucker agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome. So order up around for you and me, and you and me, and you and me. Let there be whiskey.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to Nerds with Alcohol. I'm Chris.
I'm Russ.
And this is episode 194 on a special day and same time.
That's right, 194 in the virtual Nerd Basements. Guys, it is Labor Day. Happy Labor Day to everybody out there. Hope you're enjoying the end of your long weekend. Mine was a little bit longer. I had Friday off as well, so it was kind of nice. So I've got two 4-day weeks this week, for the next 2 weeks. It was a lovely weekend for the most part. Like the weather was beautiful. We had a
hell of a storm come through last night, though. It fucking woke me up.
Had a big thunderstorm in the middle of the night, which was kind of cool. And Stella and I have been sleeping with the window open for the last, week or so. So it's been kind of nice to kind of get that too. And
it's been nice getting the fresh air. Yeah, that thunderstorm came through, and it scared the shit out of one of our dogs.
Yeah, it was
not like literally, but there was a big boom right at the beginning, and it woke me up, and I heard him jump up out of his bed, which is down in one corner of our bedroom. I heard him jump up, come running over to the side of the bed, and he tried jumping up and ran right into my ass. And I'm like, oh! Like, I'm glad I wasn't turned over the other way.
There's so many jokes. I'm just going to leave it why. It's just too goddamn easy, so I will let that one alone.
Hey.
How was your week? How was the rest of your week?
It was good. We had our game on. We had our game on Friday, which was a blast.
It was great time.
Yeah, we did a good job. First episode, the first part of that game is up on YouTube now.
Yes.
So I got that up yesterday.
Tavern Nights, everybody, check it out. On YouTube.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun playing just before this, but I mean now it's kind of cool seeing it up there. But yeah, other than that, I mean it was a typical week. Just the long weekend's been nice. I really needed time off. Although about half an hour ago I was sitting there, about an hour ago I was sitting around watching Big Bang with Renee, and I'm just sitting there in the chair and I'm like, I am really tired. It's like the all the fresh air and stuff that I've gotten this weekend because it has been so nice. Mm-hmm. It's got me worn out. I mean, I love the fresh air, but it does actually make me tired, and it actually helps me sleep. So.
Yeah, I've noticed. We noticed that our allergies were driving us a little crazy.
Yeah.
The pollen count must have been fairly high because I was like, oh god.
Yeah, I had a sore throat a little bit yesterday and a little bit today on one side where I could tell that my sinus has been bugging me.
Yeah, but at least, like I said, for the most part, it was still really, such a lovely weekend and everything. Cannot complain too much. Stella took her writers group, and they went on Saturday to Cranbrook and just sat outside and wrote and discussed their writings and stuff. So that was kind of cool. I had some time to myself here. My friend of mine, his wife, went into labor.
Oh.
Yesterday, I think it was. So when we were joking, that's not what we mean by Labor Day. But yeah, Kevin Starnes, well known among the Renaissance Festival crowd as one of the original members of Boca Musica and a founding member of the Village Idiots. He's had his, I think, 4th child. So I sound like I'm in a large room. Okay. I don't know how to fix that. So But anyway, yeah, Kevin. So Kevin had his. They had their child, and it's healthy, and everything's healthy and stuff. And another friend of mine, my friend Bill, actually went into the hospital yesterday. Apparently, blood clots in his lungs, so he is on the mend. But
That's good.
Bill is he's in his early 60s, so we were just kind of we were kind of worried. He was kind of a father figure to a lot of the old school people from festival. So, but like I said, apparently he's doing okay. I was just thinking, wouldn't it be freaking wild if he went out in the same weekend? Kevin's son was born. It's like one life for another, kind of thing. But thankfully, that's not the case. But he, like I said, he is on the mend. I don't know. It's just, yeah. This last the weekend was nice. The last week was just kind of working and getting stuff done at the studio. I interestingly enough, we have a new member of our art team on the parade company. It's actually Devin Skillion's daughter. If you remember, Devin Skillion was a newscaster from I think Channel 4 for a long time. His daughter has joined our team, at least temporarily. I don't know. I mean, I think she's got some other prospects depending on when the quarantine stuff ends and stuff like that. But still, she seemed cool. So
cool.
Yeah. That's about it for me on new stuff.
I mean, this week really wasn't anything huge for me. I mean, the game was the biggest thing, and that was a blast. So,
yeah, we had a great time. I gotta admit, and it's so funny. I gotta say, I mean, as an experienced gamer, one of probably Ed and I are probably kind of neck and neck for some of the most experienced players in the game, having been playing as since we were kids, and I mean you as well, but you're the DM, so I'm not counting you. It's just kind of funny, honestly, to see. I can see Bruce enjoyed it. Thanks, Bruce. I'm glad you had a good time. Hopefully, I know you had to kind of bail before the third part, pretty much. So I hope you enjoy seeing the conclusion, a little combat at the end. It's just kind of funny. Like I'm watching it, and I'm going. I can see the story points that you're trying to set up because, once again, experienced gamer. I was like, okay, this is what the DM wants us to do. Whereas our other kind of players are like, no, I'm going to fucking play my character, and I'm going to take it to that level, and want to play how my character would,
which is great,
which is fine, it's great. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, just give him the goddamn gem. Obviously what we have to do, So,
there was the option for you to keep it.
Sure. But it was it was probably a little more evident that was probably what we were supposed to do more so. And I mean, it was a hell of a deal too, but of course, Sydney really played her character to the hill to where she wanted to keep that diamond. And I swear to God, I mean, a flat diamond, 6 inches across, she would have looked like, she wanted to make it into a pendant. She would have looked like Flavor Flav, with a big old fucking thing on her chest. So thankfully we were able to convince her to give it up. It did cost me 150 gold, but we were able to get her to give it. For those of you who haven't experienced it yet, hopefully you will get to experience that. Just watch it. Where's it coming up? It's it looks like CD is excited about it too. Yeah, boy, as he said.
I think it's the Flavor Flav thing.
I know. So anyway, yeah, it was a good time, and I'm really looking forward to the next time we will be doing our next game is on the 18th, September 18th. That is a Friday.
Not this Friday, but the following Friday.
Correct. We're going to be once again streaming on Twitch live at 7:00. So tune in and check us out, guys. Once again, we do end up breaking up the shows into smaller bite-sized chunks so that you can watch them on YouTube later on if you don't get a chance. But we are looking for more both on this show and on for our channel here, we need some more followers, guys. If we can get affiliate status, that'd be a lot better. And we are still like 11 21 away.
21, yeah, 21 away.
So we need 21 for that. So tell all your friends about us. We really could use some help, some more help on drinking nerds. That'd be fantastic. So what are you drinking, brother?
I am drinking a beer that I found at my local bottle shop. It's a place that has just recently started. I actually did one of their beers a couple weeks ago, I believe. But it's beer from Stormcloud Brewing Company up in Frankfort, Michigan. It's called Rainmaker Ale, and there's a picture of there's the can. Just kind of a plain can. I kind of like that it's a black top, though. It kind of makes it look cool. This is Rainmaker Ale, the beer that started it all. Our flagship pale ale was handcrafted over years of homebrew basement experiments. Rainmaker is a well-balanced, medium-bodied, easy-drinking ale. Take the day off, there's a 100% chance of rain. It is a Belgian-style medium-hop pale ale. And I gotta say that trying this, not the best.
Really?
It honestly, it tastes like a homebrew that went wrong. Is kind of what it tastes like. It's as a pale ale should have some hop notes, especially at the front, with maybe some malt backbone. This has no hop notes whatsoever. It doesn't have as much of it now, but when I first opened it and poured it, it had a green apple aroma, which it shouldn't have. And right now it's got more of a malty aroma. I guess I've left it out to breathe a little bit. I mean, it's a nice color. It's kind of a copper, which is a good color for a pale ale. I'm gonna go ahead and try another sip here. That's a little bit better, but it's still not a pale ale. It's definitely got more of a Belgian flavor to it, which is where all those what I was seeing as off flavors before could have been coming from. Is that it was the Belgian yeast. Not as a pale ale, I'm going to say not impressed. Really not that good. I've really liked most of the stuff I've had from Stormcloud at beer festivals and stuff, and I got to say I was really disappointed in this one, and I wasn't overly impressed with the other one. I think I'm going to have to give this one like a 2.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
wow, that's one of the lowest numbers I think I've ever heard you give.
Well, and it's mostly because it's billed as a pale ale, and it's really not. There's no hop flavor to it, and that's to me that's what a pale ale needs. If you want a pale ale, this is not the beer for you. If you want a Belgian kind of mild ale, this might be all right. But there's like no hop flavor whatsoever.
All right. Wow.
So what about you? You drinking anything?
Well, I'm drinking once again another one of these caramel apple ciders from Blake's. I mean, they're growing on me. I kind of like. I think I realized what the flavor is. That reminds me more so. It's less caramel and more of a maple flavor. And I think it would be like a maple caramel kind of flavor, as opposed to like your typical caramel apple caramel. And I'm still liking it. It's just like, once again, I think I need it to be sweeter. I think that would make it ultimately a better cider. But I still, it's still pretty decent. I've had other caramel apple pie, caramel apple ciders, or whatever that were better. This one, but still solid.
Yeah, I haven't had one since I had that first one, so I keep looking at them. We got them in the beer fridge downstairs, and I just haven't wanted to go back to them. I just wasn't impressed with it.
No, give it another try. I think it's one of those ones that kind of grows on you. It kind of you're like, the more you drink it, and not just because of the ABV. The more you drink it, the more it's like, oh, okay, this is pretty good. So yeah, like I said, just kind of wrapping my brain around that one a little bit more. So. Not anything super fancy or out of the weird places that you pull beer from, but
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, so CD was just saying he'd be interested to see a full list plus scores from what you guys have all tried. And saying you can see most of them on Instagram now, at least
Yeah,
for
on
like
Instagram.
since like the 60s, I think it is. Somewhere
Mhm.
in there, I think, is where we got our Instagram account and actually started doing that. We're a little behind, but overall, there's a lot of them that are on there.
Yeah. We thankfully Renee has been putting a lot of them up, and we've been we're trying to maintain the fact that keeping pictures of
Yeah.
what we've been drinking and posting them and stuff. So, um, but yeah, other than that, okay. So, caramel apple from Blake's again for me, and what
Yeah.
was it again for you?
Rainmaker
Rainmaker
Ale
from
from Stormcloud Brewing.
Stormcloud Brewing, and kind of one of the lowest scores Chris has ever given. So,
Yeah.
and he
It's
tends
really
to be a generous scorer.
Yeah, it's mostly because I'm trying to judge on what I see the style as, and a pale ale should have hops, and this one doesn't.
Right, that's what you're saying. So we should probably move into the more other, some of the more nerdy stuff as opposed to the
Yeah.
boozy stuff. So why don't you kick it off, man? What do you got?
Well, one of the first things that I just saw this article the other day, and I guess there are some pretty strong rumors that Marvel, while they haven't made an announcement yet, has made a decision on what they're going to do with Black Panther 2 and the stuff going forward. And it's that they're going to give the title to Shuri.
Yeah, I read the article too. It is still all rumors, but it is also from the same source that was able to provide the rumors that were confirmed about like the She-Hulk TV show that is moving forward on Disney Plus, and a couple of the other established
some Star Wars stuff,
some Star Wars rumors, various rumors that have been established as true. Yeah, they are apparently going. T'Challa will be dying off screen.
Yep.
And I don't know. They're probably obviously not going to show it, but it will be explained that he dies in some kind of situation. And Shuri,
I'm sure what they're going to do is they're going to do like a whole tribute to him with a funeral scene.
Yeah, exactly. And then Shuri will be taking over as the
mantle.
Black Panther, the mantle of the Black Panther. Correct. I would imagine that will also lead to a storyline where maybe she's challenged. Possibly, in Wakanda, I believe that there had never been a female Black Panther before she became Black Panther in the comics. So she's probably gonna come up against some kind of opposition. So that could be a thing. I don't know.
My thing with that is, where are they going to get the heart-shaped flower now?
The root, yeah. Well, who knows? I mean, I would imagine probably
because Killmonger burned them all.
Right. I would imagine they're. They'll find it somewhere, growing wild or something, or maybe
or one of them survived and
something, or maybe she'll rely mostly just on the technology as opposed to the enhanced strength and agility and whatnot that the Black Panther has because of the mystic root that he ingests. I'm not pissed about it. I just think, in fact, I mean, I'm supportive of this decision. I just kind of feel like they should have just recast. I think I would have liked to have seen a little bit more done with T'Challa before writing him out of the Marvel Universe. My guess is Shuri will be the Black Panther for a couple of movies, maybe till Black Panther 3. At the end, she'll do 2 and 3, and then maybe in Black Panther 4, or if he shows up in another movie after that, then maybe somebody else will then take over the mantle again, maybe another male, some random prince or somebody from another tribe.
What this will do is, where the Black Panther gave, children of color that hero to look up to, she's going to give girls of color that hero to look up to.
Yes, and I agree that she will, but my argument is that she already was doing that as Shuri. She was already a hero in her own right. She was already somebody that little black girls could look up to, and now the little black boys don't have that kind of.
Well, they're gonna have Captain America.
they're going to have Captain America, sure, and that will probably be something that is going to be going to resonate quite a bit. So we'll see. We'll have to see how that results in. The thing is so many people are mad about the situation, about what's going on in America right now. I think honestly the King of Wakanda was something that was very resonant and powerful. But once again, being a middle-aged white guy in America, I really don't have a dog in this race. So I would love to hear the opinions of some of my friends my friends of color, and how they would react to it. In fact, I might even see if I can contact a couple of my friends that have a little bit more insight into this and see what they say, because I do think it is important. It's an important. I mean, Black Panther was an important movie. It was I believe one of the first superhero movies to ever be recognized by the Academy for Best Picture.
Mm.
So that's also saying something. And there were other superhero movies that were also very powerful, that could have probably been considered in that kind of caliber, but weren't. And I didn't think Black Panther, it was kind of a big deal that they actually did say, wow, this is a really, really good film. Besides being a good superhero film, or a good action or sci-fi film, it is, worthy of some Academy recognition. So beyond, like special effects or score, which is usually what they get nominated for.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I agree, CD, that she does seem like she'd be kind of the girl Tony Stark.
That's exactly what she is. She's in fact probably smarter than Tony Stark, because she's younger. And, granted, they do have the advantage of having the wonder mineral of the wonder metal vibranium that they can base a lot of their technology on. But still, it's kind of established that she was supposed to be even smarter than Tony Stark, So, like I said, I'm not mad about the story. I just think it's a shame that they're retiring T'Challa so soon.
I can understand it, though. I mean, that's the whole thing with their whole. And I think some of the stuff comes from what they did in their tribute, which was, "You will always be our king," which basically says that they're not going to recast. That he is the king, and
yeah. See, but that's the thing, though. I mean, a lot of people felt similarly about Christopher Reeve. And, Christopher Reeve stopped playing. I mean, granted, he didn't die. He died long after he stopped playing Superman, but he stopped playing Superman and other people played Superman. The same thing with James Bond, and the same thing with Batman and some of these other characters. I think if you attach a character so much to one actor, it's a shame it doesn't do the character justice.
That's fine, but those were also all characters that were done later, after years, and they were not replacements for characters in movie series.
James Bond?
Well, James Bond is different. James Bond is like a bunch of little one-offs. James Bond is the only one that's different. But any of the superhero movies, I can't think of one where they've recast someone as one of the main heroes in the middle of a series of movies.
No, that's true. This would have been the first of that they had done that. I mean, arguably they did with the first Batman, the Tim Burton Batman movies. Those were
but then once Tim Burton left at the same time. So I mean, yeah, it was sort of in the same streak of universes, and they did change Batman's up, but I see those as all different movies, because I mean, the first two are Tim Burton, and they're very different than all the others.
Yes, but they are all loosely fit. And they are all four of those movies were supposed to be in the same, setting, the same universe. So I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm not pissed about it. I would be very supportive and everything. I like the character of T'Challa, the Black Panther. I think they've done a lot with him in the comic books over the last 20 years. I just think it's a shame for them to retire him so soon. They recast Spider-Man. Yeah, that's another one. Thank you, Bruce. Spider-Man also recast every time they reboot the series. Another recast.
Well, right. So, every time they reboot Batman, they recast. Every time they reboot Superman, they recast. The reboots, that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
when they start a new series. I'm just talking about in the Marvel continuity. I think that this makes more sense.
Well, all right. Well, we'll see how it goes. I have faith. I mean, Marvel hasn't made a bad movie yet. There's been levels, but I'd still say every single one of them has been still a good, solid movie. Some better than others, of course, but I wouldn't say that they haven't made a failure yet. So we'll see.
Yeah, there's that whole Saturday Night Live skit from several years ago, like shortly after Guardians came out. It was the Marvel can't fail.
Oh yeah.
It's like, we took 6 shopping carts and put them in a movie.
It's true. It just can't fail, it seems like. Whereas DC is still having a tough time.
Yeah, DC can't succeed.
But
the thing is, I think DC is shooting itself in the foot in a lot of these.
See, DC can and has made very successful films. But they're all the solo films, the individual ones. They haven't been able to get these competent ones to work so much. I mean, Man of Steel was successful. It wasn't as big as successful as they wanted to be, but it was still successful. BVS, same thing, not as successful as they wanted, but still, people still yell Martha and whatnot. But then Justice League, once again, didn't work out. I think it suffered from switching directors. It suffered from some of the studio not supporting it in the way it should have. I think when we see the Snyder cut, it's gonna blow the doors off. But
and see, I'm skeptical. I'll watch it, but I don't think it's gonna blow the doors off. I honestly don't think it's gonna be that much better.
I think that there's 2 hours of more material, man. I mean, it's gonna be basically.
That doesn't mean it's gonna be better. Longer doesn't mean better.
I think if we see more stuff that got cut and some more and them redoing some of the special effects and doing some of the things, I think if we see the original vision of what Zack Snyder had, I think it's going to be a lot better than what we got. But then again, you look at it too. Look at Wonder Woman and Aquaman, both stunningly good films that did much better than their collected.
And see what they didn't have, Zack Snyder.
Well, Zack Snyder
and that's what I think is the issue. Is I think Zack Snyder's vision is horrid. I don't like him. I don't like what he's done. I didn't like what he did with Man of Steel. I didn't like what he did with BVS, and I don't think I'm going to like what he does with Justice League.
Well, Zack Snyder was still involved with both of those movies. He was an executive producer.
That doesn't mean he did anything on them. That means he made money.
Well, he still had some overriding influence on the looks of those films. He worked with James Wan. He worked with Patty Jenkins, I think it was, to kind of create those to try and give it an overreaching feel. That's
where the darkness came from.
Right. Now, once again, I had issues with it too, but like I said, I think I had issues with his kind of darkness as well, but I think I'd still like to see his vision kind of finished or completed, because maybe we will see something kind of come together in the end, a positivity or a good thing. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm very excited for the Snyder Cut. I think it could potentially be great. But Wonder Woman 84 comes out in like next month. And,
maybe.
Hopefully. We'll see. I think they're saying, movie theaters are opening in Michigan again now soon. So I think we may probably see that. The problem is
can you get more than 10 people in a theater
that
holds
exactly.
100?
The theaters are going to be the numbers are going to be very much more restricted. So I don't know. We'll see. I think they'd be smart just to release them to VOD and skip the theaters for the time being.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe release them to VOD now and then put them out in theaters later after the pandemic is over, after people are back to kind of opening up things and stuff, and see what how they do in the theaters at that point too. Nothing saying you can't re-release a movie in the theater. They've done it before.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
That reminded me, actually, one of the other things that happened this week for me was we got the announcement that because of the new executive order here that opens up ice arenas and things like that, that we can curl this fall.
Oh, that's nice.
Except that it's not really curling. The rules that they've come out with to make it safe are to the point where it's not curling. You can only have one sweeper. Sweepers cannot switch off. Like, you can't have one sweep half the ice and then the other one take over halfway down the ice. So you can only have one sweeper from end to end. The skips can't help sweep stones. The skips can't sweep stones in the house. It's basically just shuffleboard on ice is all it's going to be. So I'm debating whether or not I'm even going to go back this year.
Well, I mean, if it's not the experience that you're used to, yeah, you might want to just give it more time to, like, I don't know, for us to get back to normal before you try that again.
Yeah. I mean, I understand what they're doing and all that, but it's just the way that they're doing it. It's just crazy. I mean, I understand, like, no locker rooms, no, you have to show up dressed and you just change your shoes in the warm room. But that we have two doors into the arena, one from the warm room and one out into the hall by the locker rooms. And when you come into the arena, you have to go in by the one from the warm room and go out by the one to the locker rooms. And when you're done on the ice, you have to go out. All teams have to clear the ice. Not all teams finish at the same time, but all teams clear the ice. And you can't go into the warm room until the entire next draw is out on the ice. So now you're going to be a bunch of people crammed in a hallway.
Right.
So
are you going to do they force you to wear masks and whatnot
yes,
too? Or
you have to wear masks both on and off the ice.
Okay.
So you walk in the building, you have to have your mask on the whole time. Unless you're sitting at a table, which there can only be 4 per table, so only out of the 32 people that are playing, only half of them can actually stick around afterwards for a drink.
DC makes great trailers. I agree.
Yeah.
Yes, they do make great trailers.
What if you're wearing scuba gear?
and I get, yes, the Hulk was probably
the Hulk was a recast.
It was a recast, and it was the only time that they recast it in the major,
and the thing is that's the one that kind of gets forgotten, is that it actually was in the DC, in the Marvel continuity, is the Ed Norton Hulk.
Yeah,
is that actually is in the MCU.
Yeah, it's mentioned several times about how he almost broke Harlem. It's things like that.
It's actually there's scenes from it on the screen in one of the other movies.
Yeah, it is. The thing about it is that it was also probably one of the least successful of the films too, which is surprising since it was the second one.
Which the first one is not in the continuity.
Correct. Well, the first one. No, I mean, it was the second movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
Iron Man, then the Incredible Hulk, then Iron Man 2. And so, yeah, it was surprising that it wasn't as successful, considering also, too, I mean, one of the reasons they went with the Hulk was the fact that people knew, because the TV show had such a, memory of that in the public consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So they did that movie, and Ed Norton, and personally, I thought it was great. I thought Ed Norton did a great job, and it's just too bad that he didn't agree with the final cut, so he kind of pulled back, and he took, because he had a writer's credit on it originally. It's like, nope, I don't want the writer's credit, and he refused to do like the support with the media and stuff like that. But yeah. That was one of those movies that it's a shame, because and they've even said that they probably won't make another Hulk movie, that they prefer to have the Hulk be a character in the Avengers films as opposed to, or in the ensemble films as opposed to having his own film. That's why he was in Thor Ragnarok. It's why he was in all the Avengers films, but not the other ones. Not having his own.
I mean, they can just throw him in there with Captain America, because Captain America never gets his own movie, except for the very first one. It's always Captain America, Winter Soldier, and there's a bunch of other people in it, or Civil War, where it's everybody else in it.
I think that
one I think was bullshit.
I do too. I think Winter Soldier is one thing. I think it was Winter Soldier is honestly one of my favorite ones. It was fucking awesome. But I
It
do
was
feel
good.
that Civil War was one of those ones where it should have just been called Avengers Civil War, not
Yes.
Captain America Civil War, because there were big, huge parts of that movie that just obviously this was, Avengers 2.5, not it should have just been Avengers 3. Silly.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It was fine, movie was fine, but not obvious.
And in all honesty, I mean, I understand doing Civil War, and I know why they wanted to do it, but I think the way they did it was horribly done. I think they could have done much better, but the problem is that they didn't have the rights to half the characters that they needed to have in there to really do Civil War right.
Yeah. Oh, and the other thing about, that's true. Yes, with the Civil War in the movies was much more dumbed down. In the comic books, it was a huge thing.
Oh, it's 5 versus 5 versus instead of 100 versus 100.
So it looks like we have a new person in the chat, Stinker Faye. Thank you very much. And it's sure they screwed it up twice, so they didn't want to risk a third Hulk dud, which is kind of true. Because the first Hulk movie was absolutely horrid. The second one, the one with Ed Norton, was pretty solid, but it still underperformed. So we'll see. But anyway, to go back, it's too bad about your curling, Chris, but maybe it is still just a good idea to call the season like a lot of places are doing until next year.
Yeah, I mean until we can actually curl and not
right. I did hear though that apparently I think it was the football season is going to be starting or is starting.
Starts Thursday night.
They had talked originally they were talking about possibly canceling it, but apparently it is going to start, so that's all right.
Well, Governor Whitmer's order has also said that fall sports can go on, so high school football is going to be played this fall.
Right. I've got to admit, though, I have to say it was really great about how supportive the NBA has been, and the basketball teams have been about Black Lives Matter and about a lot of the protesting, and about how several of them, particularly after Kenosha, at least 2 games were canceled in protests because of the things that were going on. Also, I read that the NBA stadiums, any of the basketball stadiums, are going to be opened as polling stations. So that
I had heard
that. In November, when we vote in a scant 2 months, that they'll be opened to the public to be used as polling stations. That'll be great because they are so big that you should still be able to use a great deal of social distancing and we're
going to have to make a decision that night on whether or not we're going to do our show, because we're actually going to be, our normal show time would be during the election. It'd be Election Tuesday.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we will have
we got a couple of months to figure it out, but
yeah, have to figure that out. I guess the curling doesn't have the money of the NFL. Nope, not even a little bit.
Yeah, not even a little. Curling is considered an amateur sport.
Right.
There are no professional curlers.
Yeah.
So,
any sport that actually has drinking as a part of the game, I think it's good. You got a while before that's going to be considered professional there, my brother.
I don't know. Golf has a lot of drinking in it. At least the way I do it.
Bowling, exactly.
Bowling, yeah, that's true. You can't really bowl without a beer or some other drink. Hell, I remember smoking in the bowling alleys and just the fog of smoke everywhere.
Curling doesn't even have darts money.
Shut up, Bob.
Oh, it's Bruce. Oh no, it's Stinker Faye.
Yeah, it's Bob.
Bob?
Yeah.
Okay. What else? All right, let's move on. Let's say I wanted to mention something real quick.
Okay.
So I got into Stella and I've been watching the Peacock streaming app a little bit. A show that we really dug, AP Bio, which was on NBC. It got 2 seasons on NBC, and then it kind of was on the bubble. So they decided to go, well, we're going to give it another season, but we're going to put it on because it was getting really, really good reviews, and it was getting really good. It had a really intense fan following. They were still like experimenting with when to put it on and everything. Honestly, really, really funny show. If you get the opportunity, AP Bio, it is on and available on the Peacock. But remember, I had stated that the Peacock has its 3 levels. It's free, it's premium, and premium plus.
Mm-hmm.
Free is, of course, free. Premium is everything with commercials, and premium plus is everything without commercials. And like I said, there's quite a bit available. Entire series of various shows and whatnot, and a lot of movies on the Peacock available for free. But still, the new season of AP Bio, the first episode was free, and then the rest you had to be on the premium part to see it. And it's only $5 too. It's only $4.99. Stella was like, "Oh, do you think we can?" Because I really like that show, and I was like, well, all right, we'll at least do the trial so that we can get stream the rest of the season. Because they dumped the whole season. It's only 8 episodes. I think they might have gotten a short season because of COVID, but it was really, really funny. Anyway, I go to set it up, and I find out that if you have an Comcast and Xfinity account, the Peacock Premium is free. All you got to do is, put in and sign in your sign-in stuff that you would when you sign on to the website, and connect it and everything, and free Peacock Premium. So for those of you guys that might be on the fence about it, or whether you're going to get it, whether you're going to use it or not, and I will say there are a lot of the things on the Peacock are available on Hulu. So there's that. But then there are a bunch of things. Like I said, I was saying I believe, Battlestar Galactica is the only place you can stream it is on the Peacock. The same thing with a lot of the Sci-Fi Channel shows like Warehouse 13, Eureka, Face Off. All of those shows are only available. You can see them on Prime too, I believe. You can see some of those on Prime, but they're not only available, but Prime but like I said, I think a few of them aren't. Like Face Off is not available anywhere, and I think a couple of the other ones as well. So check it out, Peacock. If you have Xfinity, it is Xfinity Prime. It is free, or Xfinity. The Peacock Prime is free, so it's cool. Do they shut down cable at this point? I have no idea. Yeah, Bruce, HBO Max is badass. Speaking of HBO
I love
Max,
it.
Speaking of HBO Max, Chris, you had something about something you started watching.
Oh yeah, I started watching Lovecraft Country.
Right.
I watched the first episode so far, and I gotta say it's got me hooked. I want to see the next episode. I just haven't had the time, but it's full on horror. It's very Lovecraftian.
Yeah.
They mention what a racist asshole he was.
Right.
But it's not part of the overall story. But I'll tell you what, it's 50s, and it's about people of color and what they were going through in that time frame.
And coupled with Lovecraftian horror.
Coupled with Lovecraftian horror. And, I mean, to the point where they're in Massachusetts, and it's like, I'm like, damn, I didn't realize that it was that bad, even that bad up north. It's like they're in the South.
Yeah.
Talking about, hanging them from the trees and stuff like that. It's
systemic racism was everywhere. It was just more. I think it was more visible in the Deep South. I think there were less. They were less reluctant to hide behind. Hide it like they did here, like we did here up in the North and stuff. Like a lot of people did. So say Bruce watched the 4th today. That's great.
Yeah, they got 4 episodes out so far.
I haven't gotten a chance to dive into that one yet, but I definitely am. It's a Jordan Peele show.
Yeah, it's J.J. Abrams and Jordan Peele.
Right, J.J. Abrams, Jordan Peele together. Fucking powerhouse. So it's already, everything I've seen about it is really, really fantastic. Like I said, I've got a couple of my friends particularly friends of color that have watched it as well, and it's just ringing endorsement from them. They've talked about how, one of my friend Mike talked about how it is absolutely fantastic, and also really kind of addresses the racism issues that were very evident at that time.
What the thing is it's horrible that I'm learning more about how racism was in the country from fictional shows on TV than
Yeah.
I ever did in my school learning. I mean, I learned about the Tulsa Massacre from Watchmen.
Right, exactly.
I never
we
got
had
taught that in school.
Well, yeah, it was completely glossed over or covered up for the most part. I mean, it was a horrible thing. I think a lot of people it was something that America was so embarrassed by, they just wanted to sweep it under the rug, just like the Tuskegee Airmen, and all
You can't do that shit though, man.
No, you can't. Of
won't
course not.
learn. I mean,
Yeah. Yes, we're gonna
Yes.
talk about that.
Raised
too.
by Wolves, I have not watched yet. Bruce just mentioned it.
It's both on our list.
Yes, and I saw that, and I have not started that one yet, but I'm really looking to get into that one.
So we have learned a lot about and it's wild, like a couple of middle-aged guys like ourselves that have been, we've been around and we're watching some of these things that are just like, holy shit, I had no idea. And it took Watchmen for me to know about the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre of what 1921, and then also Jordan Peele's other show on Amazon, Hunters, which dealt with about kind of how they glossed over the fact that a lot of Nazis were brought into this country from World War II, and we used them for their scientific knowledge.
Yep.
And Operation Paperclip is a real fucking thing that really fucking happened. And Hunters is all about a bunch of Jewish people that ended up hunting down these Nazis, and seeing that they were punished for their war crimes. And then now we're seeing Lovecraft Country that says, and we have someone like Jordan Peele to kind of like address some of these issues, because he was also the actor that brought us Get Out too, the movie Get Out, which was also kind of dealt with.
And he's doing Twilight Zone now. He's become the king of horror.
He is becoming very much so, one of the new voices of horror. So I'm really, really jazzed to continue. I haven't watched Twilight Zone yet either, but
I haven't either, but I've heard great things from people who have.
Yeah, Bruce, I loved Hunters. I more or less binged the entire first season in like 2 days or like a weekend back during quarantine, and it was just absolutely genius. Al Pacino was fucking amazing. So guys, check these out. I mean, so to go back, Raised by Wolves is a new Ridley Scott science fiction epic. It looks like, I don't know all the details, but it looks like maybe a kind of a post-apocalyptic, maybe far into the human future, where looks like the remnants of human civilization, or the beginnings, like where they're trying to rebuild human civilization, are being shepherded and controlled by an AI or something like that. I'm not sure. But I'm really excited to see where they're going. Yes, Avenue 5, also really, really good.
See, I didn't think so. I did not like Avenue 5. I did not find it. I did not find it nearly what I expected. I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was. I watched 3 episodes and was like, I'm done. I just can't get into it.
Actually, I watched the whole series, and I can see what you're talking about, but I think it ended solidly, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the hell they're going to do next, because it was one of those, like, it was very what the fuck, because it was made by the same people that made Vice, the TV show Vice, with Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and there were times when that show was just very what the fuck, and I think Avenue 5 is one of those ones, that. It's also the technology representation of the technology is very believable as well. So we'll see. But Raised by Wolves, I'm excited about this because it looks like it's hard sci-fi too.
Yeah,
I mean, this is not, we're not fucking around with like a science fiction that is easily digestible. This is something that's going to make you think. I mean, it's Ridley Scott. So we're talking about the guy that brought us Alien.
Yep.
So, and Aliens and
Prometheus.
And Prometheus. I'd actually heard today, was perusing some of my resources and stuff, that Ridley Scott did say there is a new Alien movie in the works. He wouldn't say whether it would reference Prometheus or some of these other movies he's made. In fact, I actually haven't seen the one that came after Prometheus, so
Yeah.
I really want to have to see that at some point. What was that called? Do you remember?
Not off the top of my head, no.
It was supposed to really be like the real origin as to where the xenomorphs came from, and kind of explain a little bit more about the architects and that race of giant creatures that apparently probably seeded the world and everything.
Yeah.
I think Alien is beaten down enough. Yeah.
No
mo. It's true. After Alien 3, I'd say Alien 3 was also
Alien Cubed.
Yeah, Alien 3 was a stretch, but Alien 4 was just
Resurrection.
That was sad. It was a sad state of affairs. I still
have only ever seen Alien, the first one. I haven't seen Aliens.
You never saw Aliens? Oh no. Man, it's so good.
I know, that's what everyone keeps telling me. I keep you have to see it. You have to see it.
Yeah. Well, it's very different too. Alien was a horror movie. Aliens was an action film.
Yeah, and that's what everybody says. So.
But yeah, 3 was okay. It was a stretch. Alien 4 was absolutely awful, and I did enjoy Aliens versus Predator though. So that was when weren't there the same number of Alien films as there are Batman movies. I think there's a few more Batman movies, but I'm not sure. I'd have to do that.
Now I think there might be. At a time there probably was. But
well, they also, speaking of Batman movies, we also got some news that Robert Pattinson he tested positive for COVID.
Yeah.
So they had to shut down production of the new Batman movie to
they had to break out the bat cleaners and
shut everything down. And they had just started back up. They'd only been filming for maybe like a week, so it's too damn bad. But I'm still, from what I've seen, I'm still fairly from seeing the trailer with Pattinson, I'm still all right with it.
Well, we got sidetracked though. So Lovecraft Country, I definitely suggest checking it out. I'm going to be watching more of it. Yes. The other thing that I watched over the weekend was the first episode of The Boys on Amazon Prime.
Yes, Amazon Prime dropped 3 episodes of The Boys, as well as 3 episodes of I believe Raised by Wolves as well. Is Raised by Wolves?
That's HBO Max. HBO? That's HBO Max. HBO Max dropped 3 episodes of that.
Sure. So yeah, it's interesting. I mean, they're premiering these things, and we still got like 3 episodes, so that was kind of cool. The Boys was awesome.
It jumps right into where it left off. I mean, it just heads exploding and lots of gore, and
you find out that I think Huey's been underground for about 6 months.
Yeah.
And so the boys have been underground for about 6 months. They haven't heard anything from Butcher. They don't know where the hell he is. But if you remember, the season ended with Butcher finding out that his wife was still alive, that she had a child, that she had this little blonde kid that was spitting image of Homelander. Yep. And it turns out that because he knew that Homelander had raped his wife, and she got pregnant, and she ended up having the child. In the comic book, it's a little more fucking horrible. I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't read the comic. It's a little bit different, and but anyway, she has the child and is apparently raising it in a special, like, walled off community, where he's kind of raised in semi-isolation, and Homelander found out about it, and he's like, hey, I'm your dad, and is trying to be a part of this kid's life. In the meantime, he had also, he had brought Billy with him so that Billy could see, hey, your wife's here, and she had my baby, so yeah. But then you see Billy had, been basically dropped off in the middle of nowhere, Texas, and not really in the middle of nowhere, Texas. He was like in a suburb of Texas. And he had no idea where he was. He had no idea where his wife is being housed. But he knows she's alive. So now he has an even greater motivation to take down the Supes and to get back to his wife and everything.
Yeah.
So,
but
he does.
In the same time, they've all been framed for killing Elizabeth Shue's character.
Correct. Yeah.
In which actually it was Homelander that killed her.
Correct. And so they're all like on the most wanted list, and they're hiding out among these like criminals and drug dealers and gun runners that Frenchie knew, to basically just like keep underground and keep away from the soups and stuff. They also introduce a new character.
Yes, the new head of Voight.
Well, they have several new characters.
Yeah.
They introduced the new head of Voight, which is Carlos Esposito.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Giancarlo Esposito, thank you. And who's a very memorable character actor. He was on The
Mandalorian.
He was on The Mandalorian, but he was also probably even more well known for being on Breaking Bad. He was one of the big bad guys on Breaking Bad. I
know him from Revolution.
He was on Revolution. He was on Once Upon a Time. I mean, the guy has been working for many, many years. He always does like these, plays a lot of similar characters, whatnot. He's also going to be he's going to be the villain in the new Far Cry game.
Yes.
Too.
Yep.
Far Cry 6. So he plays a despot, like a Cuban despot or something, like a South American despot. So the guy, I mean, Giancarlo Esposito is a hell of an actor, and he really knocks it out of the park. And,
he can play a bad guy well.
He does. He can play a good guy too, but he really doesn't.
I've never seen him play a good guy.
I've seen him play kind of a middle of the road guy, like maybe kind of even, but he's got that death stare down really good, and he's basically able to stare down the Homelander.
Yeah,
and the guy just kind of realizes like he's outmatched at the moment. So introduce that character as the head of Vought Industries, and then they also introduced a new superhero, Stormfront, and so she's going to be replacing, because at the beginning of the show the first episode they also showed that that Translucent had been killed. Instead of revealing that he had been killed by the boys in a most dramatic manner, because he had been blown up. Translucent, if you remember, he was El Polo Chicken. That's correct. Translucent was like when he was invisible, his skin was like a high carbon, bulletproof steel or whatever, and but so they couldn't try as they might, they couldn't get through. They couldn't shoot him or kill him, but they figured out by shoving a bomb up his ass.
That was inside of his skin.
So they blew him up. So anyway, they said that Translucent had died on a mission overseas fighting super terrorists, and so that was all. They were able to get more funding towards and more push so they could get the soups in the military. Now the interesting thing is one of the cool things about it was that they were able to show how much struggle Starlight is having, because she knows that they are all fucking scumbags. She knows that they're all, at the very least, Homelander is a monster. She knows that A-Train has got all kinds of fucking problems. She knows that A-Train is in a coma at the time of the first episode. He's because she had saved his life. He had a heart attack in the final episode of the previous season, and she had saved him. Queen May may have some redeeming qualities, but she's also kind of stuck as a, because she knows that Homelander is a psycho, and the Deep, she got kicked out because he sexually assaulted her. Black Noir, who knows what Black Noir is thinking. So anyway, we've got she after she does they do the funeral, and she actually sings a song at the funeral, but she goes back to her quarters and like gets out of her costume and everything, and she's in that kind of more sexier outfit that they had made for her, and with the high boots, and she's in the heels, and she's got falsies in to make her bustier, and she's wearing a hairpiece and all kinds of stuff, and she kind of takes all the makeup off and sees that she's kind of struggling because she's got to live up to this this kind of created persona that Vought has created for her. And it's one of the things I really appreciate about the show is it may be a hyper violent now that's an enema, thanks CD, It's this hyper violent, like at times funny show with these superheroes, but it's also very much a kind of analyzing the celebrity and how we appreciate and how we view celebrity in this country, and power and rich, and wealth and stuff like that. How
Mm-hmm.
ultimate power certainly corrupts, ultimately, or absolute power.
Yep.
And that's exactly what the Homelander has. He's a complete sociopath.
Oh yeah.
He sees himself as a god, and nobody can stop him. So it's pretty. I've been also watching the after show, because there's an after show on Amazon too, where they analyze it and they talk about it, and with some of the actors and some of the creators and writers, and the cool thing about it is they don't censor themselves at all on the after show as well. I mean, they talk about the prevalence of the term cunt in the show, and how they use it so regular, particularly Billy Butcher.
Mm-hmm.
And but
that's the thing, is it's not nearly as nasty a word in other parts of the world.
Right.
It is here as it is here in the States.
Right, exactly. It's very common to be used in Europe, and particularly in England. So,
And in Australia.
Australia, yeah, and Ireland, from what I understand. Ireland's got the British Isles.
Yeah, well, but if you say bloody over there,
it's
worse than saying fuck.
Right, exactly. A lot of Americans don't realize that, because you hear bloody as a term in movies and television here. You hear it a lot less in England, because so much. It refers, from what I understand, to the blood of Christ. So that's why it's a particularly strong.
Well, I read an article that talked about how over in like England they have certain words that can be said at certain times. And bloody is the one that cannot be said before 10 p.m. or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Just like, on some shows.
But fuck can be said at 9.
And like I said, some certain words you could hear on American television after 10 o'clock. When they started letting primetime television say shit.
Yeah.
Shows that were shown after 10. So it just depends. It depends on the culture. But anyway, the show, it's kind of like The Talking Dead, but it's, with this show. And it's really, really cool. Aisha Taylor is the host, and she doesn't pull any punches. She's hilarious and filthy. And so, yeah, they do a really great job, not just talking about the show, but talking about what the show is trying to show people. And I think it's really great, because, God, it's just genius. And so, yeah, I don't want to get too far. Yeah. Because I know you've only seen the first episode.
Yes.
But we really do see some really great stuff in the first couple episodes.
Yes, Archer Goddess.
Yeah.
Aisha Taylor.
Yeah, for sure. Homelander, he's not on the juice, but he's got this fascination with breast milk too. He's got this thing. He finds a bottle of it in well,
it was hers specifically, because he was.
Yeah, but you also see him at one point drinking just regular milk, and him like tasting it like it's heaven to him. So I think part of it is like he recognizes milk as one of those things it's very wholesome, and it's very it's something that he didn't have when he was being raised, because he was raised in isolation. He was raised like a lab rat. That's why he's a sociopath. Honestly, it's one of those nature versus nurture things. He was raised to be a weapon, and because he was so powerful. We're also getting into more and more about Compound V. And that kind of stuff too. So, guys, check out The Boys season 2. It has been renewed for a 3rd season. They revealed that at Comic-Con at home. That it has already been renewed for a 3rd season before they even released. It had been renewed for a 2nd season before the 1st season aired. It had been renewed for a 2nd season before a 3rd season before the 2nd season aired. This is how good this show is. It's almost unheard of that they do that. Now, granted, this is Amazon too. It's not the normal networks and whatnot, but still, it's amazing.
I want to know when we're gonna get another season of Carnival Row.
I believe it's coming. I believe it was delayed.
That's what
Production
I
was
figured.
delayed because of the coronavirus. So
But to move on a little bit, the one of the things I wanted to bring up real quick. Have you seen the movie? And I don't know if we've talked about it. Have you seen the movie Eurovision?
yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I've watched it at least twice.
Yeah,
Stella and I, because I watched it, and then Stella, you got to watch this.
That thing that you posted the other day
with Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Yes, Sir Mix-a-Lot redoing Ya Ya Ding Dong, or doing his version. That is fucking hilarious. It had Renee like dying, and she sent it off to Brad at B Nectar, and that if you guys haven't seen Eurovision, it's worth a watch.
Eurovision is great. It's one of those. It's a Netflix original. It was one of those movies that had. It's got what's his name in it?
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell. It's got Will Ferrell in it, and he basically plays this guy who his whole life, his dream was to enter and win the Eurovision Song Contest, which is this really big deal contest in Europe about where they
pretty much any country can get into it except the U.S.
Yeah, where they enter. These people enter the this contest and they sing.
It's American Idol-esque.
It is. It's very American Idol, but you have one representative from each country, and it could be either a band or a singer. It doesn't just have to be one person, and so it's one act basically.
Yeah.
And they choose one specific song that they perform. And the thing about it is, the Eurovision Song Contest has a particular sound. I think ABBA was a winner apparently probably years ago. So that's the sound of the Eurovision. It's very pop.
Yes.
But, I mean, they did show some of the people had a little more rock to them, and some of them had a little more rap or hip-hop to them. But it had a very, like, kind of dancey kind of feel to a lot of these songs. But anyway, so this character who's from Iceland decides to enter the contest with his best friend from childhood, this woman.
Rachel McAdams.
Played by Rachel McAdams. And it is absolutely hilarious.
The first part of the movie isn't great. You got to get past like the first hour to get into the second hour when once they get to like the mansion scene, the movie I think completely changes and it gets much better.
I'd say it's more like the first half an hour. The first 30 minutes or so.
It's at least 45 minutes.
Because they have to they're introducing and kind of.
Although I have to say, I love the music video at the beginning.
Oh, for sure. For Volcano Man?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah, like I said, it's there's elements of it. Some of the bands are kind of Nightwishy, and some of them are kind of, I don't know. There's some really, really amazing. I got to say, there's amazing talent, too.
But anyway, what I was bringing up, though, was that video that you posted, the Sir Mix-a-Lot Ya Ya Ding Dong remix.
Right. In the movie, there's a song called Ya Ya Ding Dong that was this apparently popular song in Iceland, and
it's not really a song from Iceland.
No,
it's actually,
it's
but it's supposedly in the movie. That's what it is. It's supposed to be like a folk song that everyone loves.
Will Ferrell's character, I think it's Lars. They got a little house band that he and his friend that they played and stuff, and it's constantly people want to hear this song over and over.
Hey, you want to hear our Eurovision song? No, play Ya Ya Ding Dong.
Play Ya Ya Ding Dong, and so Sir Mix-a-Lot took it and remixed it, and it's goddamn hilarious. So
he put some of his lyrics in too. So
right. But he did say he tried to keep it kind of pure,
Well, I love the line, "Gonna keep it clean because it's not my song."
But it's really, really funny, you guys. Check it out. It's on the page, on the Nerds with Alcohol page.
Did you post it there?
And I think I did.
I saw that you posted it to a friend. So
yeah, I posted it to a friend of mine. My friend Natalie, who's recently watched the show and really loved it. And so, and the thing is, like I said, the performances in this movie are really spectacular. There's some really great singing. Will Ferrell is actually very musical, and his whole family is very musical. Rachel McAdams apparently did some of the singing, and some of it was sung by somebody else.
The last song, when they were performing at Eurovision, that's not her.
No, it's not her. The guy who played the Russian character, he is actually the actor who was on Legion. He played the main character in the show Legion. Mm-hmm. He also, I believe, he had somebody lip syncing for him.
He was hilarious.
It was really, really funny. The was actually decent. He acted okay. Yeah. Yes. Will Ferrell is. I mean, he's underrated because he can act. He can be an actor and he can act, but
He
because
just
he
does
plays
so
a lot
many.
of goofy fucking things, people
Yeah.
just miss that as well. Um, all the bands were based on performers that went to Eurovision. That's true. And in the mansion scene, several of the people that sing and perform in the mansion scene are former Eurovision contest winners.
Yep.
So, like the person who is the performer who was in a dress but also
Yes.
has a beard, um, they are a winner, and some of
Yep.
the other people too. So it's really really funny. And really sweet. There's a lot of heart to it too. Like the relationship he has with his father, the relationship he has with
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan, arguably the most handsome man in the entire village. She's probably not my sister. I'm definitely not your sister. So really, really funny stuff. And like some people hate Will Ferrell and some people love him. I think this is a great.
I'm not a huge Will Ferrell fan, but
I like him.
For the most part, I liked that movie. I mean, there are movies I like that he's in, and there are movies that I haven't seen yet that I want to. Like I haven't seen Anchorman, and I want to see it.
Anchorman's really fantastic, yeah. But it's also very farcical, and it's part of the. You have to kind of buy into it.
A lot of times, I like Will Ferrell when he's not the main character, like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Marshall Willenholly, I thought he was hilarious.
He was really funny in that. I thought he was hilarious in Old School.
He was okay in Old School. I think he was a little too over the top.
Frank the Tank. So yeah, Will Ferrell is. I think it depends. It's one of those things where you kind of give and take, and I like him personally, but I know there are a lot of people out there that just think he's a fucking clown. So.
Yeah,
but yeah, Eurovision. It is on. Land of the Lost. Land of the Lost was another example there.
Which is Eurovision funny that he played that. He had just played Marshall Willenholly.
Willenholly, right? Yeah. So yeah, the Eurovision is on. Hi, Dresden. Is on Netflix. It actually is doing very well on Netflix. You should check it out.
Did you have anything else you wanted to hit on real quick before we get into the last thing that we'll probably talk about for the rest of the show?
Well, we had over the weekend they released Avengers, the Avengers video.
Oh, that's right.
It's I've seen a lot of things. Rarely have I seen a video game kind of come under this much critique. Like it's people are picking it apart like a lot. And I think because it is a huge game, and I think they're expecting a lot out of it too, particularly during quarantine when a lot of people are still like stuck at home or whatnot. So, but I've seen a lot of reviews and stuff. Overall, the storyline is apparently fantastic. People are saying really wonderful things. That the story itself is really, really great. And well acted, and looks great, looks beautiful. There are some people that have some problems with the fight, with some of the missions, and maybe how that with some of the gameplay. But it's overall doing pretty well, from what I understand. I'm really excited to play it. I'm not going to get it right away. Like I said, it just came out over the weekend. I'm going to probably give it a little while. I've got a whole bunch of backlog of games that I'm still playing. I'm working on that vampire game, which once again, enjoying. Pretty solid game. Really, really liking it. Difficult, but not too difficult. So if you guys haven't played that one, Vampire, spelled with Vampyr.
The vampire.
Vampire.
It's a vampire.
It's a solid game. Check it out if you get the opportunity. But so the Avengers doing fairly well. I think some of the more hardcore gamers are, like I said, have a few more, or particularly gamers that play these kind of games, have a few more issues with it. I would imagine, I think some people are saying that they're expecting later microtransactions and things like that to come up. But there are a lot of different like costumes and variations on the costumes you can get. There's a lot of promotional material out there that you can get. Like something about, I think there was like a Doritos promotion or something that you could put in a code and you could get costumes for all of them that were all very one particular color scheme. But anyway, stay tuned for more stuff. The more I hear about it, the more I'm going to be talking about it. And eventually, particularly once I get the game. I might even hold off on getting that game until I get a PS5 because it will be also coming out for the PS5.
Yep.
So although they have actually said if you buy it for the 4, you will be able to download a copy for the PS5 as well. So, but me, I like having my discs. So, also, I did also hear something about that the Gotham Knights video game that's coming up that's supposed to feature all of Batman's lieutenants that in the Arkham Asylum universe. It's supposed to be that the Gotham Knights story is not built to happen in like one night. Like I believe in the original Arkham Knight game, it was supposed to pretty much all happen in like 24 hours or 36 hours or something like that. This game is built to happen over a much longer period of time to the point where you'll actually see the characters evolve a bit. Batgirl, Robin, Nightwing, all the characters should evolve somewhat. So,
Red Hood.
I'm happy about that. Also, to move on, another real quick hit. Let's see, I thought that I'd seen a date. Okay, Thor: Love and Thunder. It looks like has been pushed forward to its the next. It originally was supposed to come out in November of 21. But because of the coronavirus and pushing everything, they have moved it forward to twice now. They originally was going to be February 18th. Now they're pushing it to February 11th or they're moving it to February 11th, 2022. So due partly to Spider-Man 3's release date changing as well. So that's why. So yeah. Just kind of wanted, that was another like quick hit, but that was about it really.
Okay, well, the last thing I wanted to talk about is I don't know why I didn't hear about this before, but tomorrow is Star Trek Day.
Yeah.
Huge day. They are going to be doing a bunch of panels starting at noon Pacific time.
Correct.
So 3 o'clock Eastern, and it's going to go for about 3 hours and 40 minutes, they said. They're going to have, how many panels? 8 panels. All the panels are hosted by either Will Wheaton or Mika Burton.
Cool.
And they're going to go through a bunch of them. So, like, the first panel is going to be Star Trek Discovery.
Awesome.
That's going to be hosted by Mika Burton. It's going to have Sonequa Martin Green, David Ajala, Alex Kurtzman, and Michelle Paradise on that one. The second one is at 12:30. That's Deep Space Nine.
Okay, cool.
That's going to be hosted by Will Wheaton. It's going to have Sirach Lofton.
Sirach Lofton played the captain's son.
Alexander Siddig, Nana Vister, Armin Shimmerman, Terry Farrell, and Ira Stephen Bear. Those last ones are actually scheduled to appear, so there's a chance they may not.
Now, what is this? Where is this going to be on?
It is actually on StarTrek.com, I believe.
Oh, wow, right on, cool.
Yeah. The third one is going to be Strange New Worlds, the new show.
Cool.
That it will be Mika Burton, Anson Mount, Rebecca Romaine, Ethan Peck, Akiva Goldsman, Henry Alonso Myers, Akila Cooper, and Davey Perez.
Okay. Some of those names, I have no idea who they are.
I think some of them are the producers and stuff. So
producers and writers, directors, whatever.
Yeah. The fourth panel at 1:30 is Star Trek: The Original Series.
No.
And that's going to be Will Wheaton hosting with George Takei and Rod Roddenberry.
That's all they could get, huh?
Yeah, I guess so.
That's all right. I've hung out with Rod Roddenberry actually at one of the cons years ago. He's actually pretty cool dude.
The fifth one is Voyager, the 25th anniversary.
All right.
That's gonna be
25 years.
Yeah, it's gonna be Mika Burton, Kate Mulgrew, Robert Duncan McNeil,
Okay.
Ethan Phillips,
Cool.
Robert Picardo, Tim Russ, and Garrett Wang.
Awesome. I might have to look into that. I mean, I'm going to be at work, so I don't think. And you said they're going to be starting at noon.
Yeah, they said it's going to be going for 24 hours.
Okay.
So basically, it's going to be the same thing as like what Fandom was. I think they're going to do 3.5 hours worth of stuff, and then they'll just keep repeating it.
Correct.
So then after that is Enterprise at 2:20. I guess that one's only 20 minutes long. That starts at 2, and then at 2:20 is Enterprise. That's Will Wheaton, Scott Bakula, John Billingsley, Dominic Keating, Anthony Montgomery, Linda Park, and Connor Trinier.
Okay. Yep.
The seventh one is one of my current favorite shows, Lower Decks.
Awesome. Honestly, and like I said, I just watched the latest episode again, or the newest one. That show is really solid.
Dude, the references they make to other Star Trek stuff.
So good. Like, I mean, because the entire episode, she kept referencing all the different like shapeshifters or different things that could like control your mind or whatever.
Parasites
and stuff. I was like, oh my god, it was so fucking great.
Well, she referenced one. It was at least they're not going to kill you for walking on the freaking grass.
Yeah. Some person in a tunic that is going to kill you for walking on the grass. And then she also at one point referenced how Data's brother Lore had teamed up with the Borg, and she's like, I mean, geez, save some strange and what was it? Strange and unusual for someone else or whatever it was. Geez, Enterprise, it was just like, oh my god, it's so fucking funny. And even in that flashback, in that memory flashback, it was the older uniforms too.
Yeah.
It was like the uniforms of the DS9 era. So, man, just a really, really, really surprisingly good show. And guys, people give it a chance, because I think there were some people that kind of like tuned out when they saw the trailer and they're like, oh, this is gonna be dumb, and then realized no, it's a solid show.
Yeah.
And they're calling it success. So.
Yeah. That's going to be at 2:40 p.m. Pacific, so that'll be 5:40 our time. It's going to have Mika Burton, Tawny Newsome, Jack Quaid, Noel Wells, Eugene Cordero, and Mike McMahon.
Speaking of Jack Quaid does the voice of Ensign Boimler, one of the main characters on Lower Deck. Jack Quaid is also on The Boys. He plays Huey on The Boys. And the interesting thing is, too, that's Randy Quaid's... Not Randy Quaid's. That's, it's Meg Ryan's son.
Oh.
Meg Ryan and
Dennis Quaid?
Dennis Quaid's son. And if you look at him, you can see it. You can totally see it. Like, he's very much a mashup of his father and his...
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I didn't either until I saw an interview with him about from last year, right before The Boys had even come out, on Jimmy Kimmel. And Jimmy Kimmel mentioned that that how much he looks like his dad and his mom, and then also about and asked him if he'd ever seen the scene from When Harry Met Sally where Meg Ryan fakes an orgasm. So, and he had stated, he was like, yeah, I actually just saw that the year before, because I was on a rom-com and I figured I needed to see the rom-com. And so it was just like, holy shit, I had no idea. So yeah, that's Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan's son.
And then
she'd actually even been on came on the set one time. So. So you're saying?
Yeah, the last panel then is panel 8, and it's Picard and the Next Generation. It is Will Wheaton hosting with Patrick Stewart and Jonathan Frakes.
Cool. That's awesome. Her empathic abilities were more effective than Kirk's punctuation.
Well, yeah, because CD said, did they mention how useless Troy was earlier on? That's
Even Troy addresses that. She talked. I saw an interview where she talked about how stupid some of her lines were in the first few seasons.
Oh yeah, she's hilarious to listen to.
She is. Well, and on some
Marina
of the Star Trek,
Sirtis.
yeah, Marina Sirtis, and some of the Star Trek stuff on at Comic-Con at home, where they're interviewing Picard or they're interviewing the cast for Picard, and she's just totally taking the piss out of Patrick Stewart half the time. She's like, "Don't tell him that his ego. It took so long to get his ego under control." And all these other things, and she was really, really funny. So,
well, her one story from what was it, Emerald City Con or something like that, where she talks about being on the set and all this. It was one of the funniest stories I've ever heard, and it was just hilarious. I don't even remember exactly what the story was now.
Well, she's got a lot of stories like that.
Yeah.
She's really great. Yeah, but I mean, also, if you guys get the chance, you should check out Short Treks on the CBS app. You can. There are a bunch of short films that were made set in Star Trek, and they deal with some of the characters from Discovery. It's all set within the Discovery timeline there, but it's all using some of the characters, some of the actors. Like they deal with the first time Spock and Number One when the first time Spock comes on to the Enterprise, and how he meets Number One. And apparently, the two of them get stuck in a in a turbo lift together. There's a one where this guy discovers a tribble and what they are, and he goes, "Oh, they're actually just like a ball of meat, like a scallop, And he says, "Yeah, I actually cooked one up," and it's just. What? And so some of them are really, really out there, really funny. There was one with Rainn Wilson reprising his role, his character of Mud, where he gets to play Mud. So,
it was her costume story. That's what it was. It was talking about her costumes.
Oh, really?
And how all the different all the costumes changed, and how hers didn't really change.
Not so much. Not until the last season where she started actually wearing the uniform. So yeah, the one dress that had the blue dress with the sloping kind of neckline.
Yeah.
And or the one purple jumpsuit that she wore in the first season that was very low cut. Yeah.
And the mini skirt.
The mini skirt in the first season. Yeah. Riker had two moods: horny or asleep. That's true. Tribbles the solution for world hunger? I think so. Depending on how they taste. It depends.
But anyway, I'll be checking this out tomorrow. Like I said, it's on StarTrek.com. You can check it out. StarTrek.com/day is the link. It starts at noon Pacific time, so 3:00 Eastern, and runs until about 6:40 our Eastern time, I think. So yeah, it's like 3 hours, and it's going to be like 3 hours and.
So basically, if you go to StarTrek.com, you're going to be able to see it on a loop probably, and I would imagine they'll put them up on YouTube eventually as well.
That's my guess. Yeah.
So
awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I will probably have it on in the background while I'm working tomorrow.
Yeah. I might do the same while I'm at work too. So.
And while I'm getting ready for my football draft, because my fantasy football draft is tomorrow night.
Okay.
Which actually I forgot. I was going to get my trophy, and I was going to have it sitting back over there where Malgus is right now, which I am going to do for my draft tomorrow because I'm the champion I'm my league champion. So I'm going to make sure that the trophy is well visible
prominently featured.
Yes, for our draft tomorrow, because we're doing it online, but we're going to do it on a Zoom meeting, so everyone will be able to see it.
All right. Well, we should probably wrap things up as we are getting.
Birthday shots are going to be next Tuesday. That's my birthday is next Tuesday. We will be doing the show on my birthday.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, we'll have to make sure we get something shotable here in the home. But yeah, hey guys, thanks for listening. It's another great show. Be sure to just tell all your friends about us and spread the word. We're at 29. Was it? It says
Followers.
29 followers. We got to get up to 58 so we can get affiliate status, and that would be really helpful to us. And we appreciate all of your support because God's know we can certainly use it. But you can find us in all the places that you can find quality podcasting. They still let us on. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on iTunes. We are on the Google Play Store, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, radio.com. And of course, you can stream and or download all the episodes from our very own website at www.nerdswithalcoholshow.com. We are also now on YouTube and on Twitch.
Drinking Nerds on both those. Yep, Drinking Nerds, both those places. We are also on most of the social media, so you can follow us there. Keep up to date on what we're doing when we have to change our show lineups or something like that. We are on Facebook, Nerds with Alcohol Show. We are on Twitter at Drinking Nerds and Instagram Drinking Nerds. And although I'm not on there as much as I should be, we are on Untapped. Just search for Drinking Nerds and send us a friend request, and we'll get you added.
Absolutely. So, all right. And guys, we're always remember, you chime in on the Facebook page or Instagram or whatever. Let us know what you think. If you had some questions or you got a suggestion on what you want us to talk about. I've got I got a friend of mine that said, hey, I got, how about a show that centers around like the Muppets and Jim Henson and what they've created? I was like, hey, that's a great idea. We'll have to do a show that kind of talks about the Muppets. And I've got a friend who is a Muppet expert that we're going to probably have on. I've got another friend that's also a friend of a friend that's also a Twitch streamer. And since we are now Twitch streamers as well, she's been doing it for a while. And I'd like to maybe have her on and see what she thinks about the whole phenomenon and of Twitch streaming, and kind of get her opinions.
I got a couple people that I want to reach out to and talk to about some stuff, but also I just lost my train of thought. Wow, it's getting late.
It is getting late. But anyways, like I said, if you guys have a suggestion, a topic, anything, we'd love.
Oh, that's what it was. I just thought of it. We've had other shows that we've done and other subjects that we've done from other people too, like some of the comic book pick'ems and stuff that we've done have been suggestions by people, and some other topics of different movies and things like that. So. Yep.
So anyway, if you want to hear our talk about our,
I gotta start watching the Expanse CD. That's
I gotta go back to that too. Yeah.
I only watched like the beginning of the first episode and had to turn it off because something else came up, and I haven't gotten back to it.
I watched a lot of the first season. I got to go back to it. That's pretty cool. So, but anyways, before we tangent again,
yes,
we should get going.
Yeah. So I think that's gonna do it.
I think that's gonna do it.
So until next time. Sláinte.
Well,
that was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Have a good week, everybody.
Good night.